I've dabbled in the short space, and I get that question all the time in the comments. What game is this? I was like, what do you mean, what game it is? It's but yeah, it's crazy.
Says it right below, dumbass. Sometimes it's kind of that's the first thought that goes through my head when I fucking people ask me that. It's like the drill instructor comes out. It's like, well, fucking look at the bottom, you jackass. But then it's like, oh, this is Escape from Tarkov. You should check.
Right.
That whole dual personality you got to
Yes,
have.
use your inner voice versus yeah, exactly. Oh, so now what?
Hey, she's a beauty.
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come on, share their stories, experiences, and advice. And today, I've got a legend. I've got Airwing Marine. Welcome.
Thanks for having me on.
So what we normally do is, to kick things going, we do like 3 rapid questions just to get the juices flowing. And are you ready?
Yep.
All right, first one. Favorite action movie?
Favorite action movie? Oh my gosh. I feel like it's got to be. You got to pick decades, but like most recently, it's probably Iron Man. I guess the most recent one.
That's a good one. All right, craziest, sketchiest bar you've ever been to?
It depends on if this is PG-13 or not.
No, we can go. There's we can swear and everything.
I won't get into too much detail, but there's a couple of bars that are pretty interesting in Thailand, Pattaya City specifically.
Yeah,
Long time ago, back in the days of the Marine Corps, young and dumb. We won't finish that.
All right,
That's about it. That's crazy. It's about as crazy as it gets. The stuff that you talk about, that's stories for many beers and stuff, not necessarily stuff I want to be held against me in the court of law.
Absolutely. All right, best birthday gift ever.
Best birthday gift ever. Oh my gosh. So my birthday's stacked on top of Christmas, so it's kind of all
no way.
not right on top of it,
Yeah.
but it's a couple of days apart. So there's a lot of like Merry Birthday, Happy Christmas kind of things. Oh man, I don't know. That's a tough one. It was probably when my wife showed me that she was pregnant. Because it was the first pregnancy test.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite my birthday, but it was kind of a birthday present. It was our first kid, Lucy. So.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. So let's get rolling. Who is Airwing Marine? I'm assuming by the name you've been in the Marines and part of an air crew.
Yeah. So I served on KC-130s, T models in the Marine Corps. Did 5 years as in the Marine Corps, which only about 3.5, 4 of that, 3.5, 4 of that was actually on the C-130. You spent a whole year of training, which was funny because the whole point I went to the Marine Corps is I was tired of school. I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to go do something different. And then I ended up in a full year of training and school and everything, but a little bit different than college, but still the same kind of the whole year before I actually got to do anything major. But that was kind of what sparked. I've always been into video gaming for a long time, and even through the Marine Corps. It was funny because like on deployments and stuff, guys would bring Xboxes and network them and shitty. Then this is back when TVs were, they were bigger than your PC case. They were huge, everybody bring a TV and we'd land together for Call of Duty or Halo or whatever on the old Xbox and play multiplayer doing that kind of stuff. So video games were always a part of even in the military. And then that's where, the Airwing Marine, it's vernacular in the Marine Corps. You're in the air. If you're working on aircraft or you're on the air side versus the ground side, you're considered air wing. And then when, God, I can't remember. I think it was, I don't know, it was Halo 1 or Halo 2, whatever it was, where they, Xbox Live first started and you had to come up with an online persona or make an online name. I'm horrible at it. So obviously super original Airwing Marine. And the only thing it wasn't taken, and I hate having to put numbers behind stuff. So it worked, and it's just been the name I've used ever since.
Awesome. Yeah, I love the logo, and it's it's really cool. So now the plane you were talking about, the K something, so that's a variant of the C-130?
KC-130. The C-130 is a base model, but there are tons of different variants that do serve different purposes. You know, everybody's favorite AC-130 from Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
the KC-130 is a area refueler specifically.
Oh, no way.
You can refuel helicopters and jets in the air, and that's why the Marine Corps has it. But
Yep.
unlike the other branches, the Marine Corps isn't mission specific. We don't only do aerial refueling. The kind of the jack of all trades. The only stuff that the Marine Corps doesn't do is like the AC-130 mission.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
because there's like MC-130s, which are like special ops, night vision kind of
Yep.
capable aircraft. And you've just got the C-130, which is a cargo airplane but can do aerial delivery, and then the AC-130 and the KC-130. And I think that's all of them. I think there's like an HC-130, but I think that's a British thing only. Really common air. It's one of the most common airframes around the planet. I think
Yeah.
over 100 countries use it. It's
Holy
been
crap.
around since I mean, it was used in the Vietnam War. It's been around
Yep.
forever. Still getting modernized. The most recent modernization was to the J model, which was done right when I was getting out. So,
Yeah.
late 2000s, and it just keeps on chugging, man. It's a
Man.
hell of an airframe.
Something as big as that, it's amazing. They can just take off and go. Holy crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of power. It's a fat little stubby airplane that's got a lot of power.
Yeah.
It's slow, but it's slow and loud, but it can fly with twice its own body weight in fuel or cargo. So
That's amazing. So now, where'd you come from? What part of the world did you grow up in?
mostly Montana, which is where we're at now. We're back here in Montana now,
Yeah.
but I went to middle school in Alabama. My mom was traveling around for work, so I
Yeah.
went to middle school in Alabama, high school in Pennsylvania, and I joined the Marine Corps, and Texas, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, New York, and then
Yeah.
being on the C-130 mission specific, you flew everywhere.
Yeah.
I was based out of New York, but I traveled nonstop. Like I was in New York maybe 2 months of the entire year was I actually in New York, because we were all over the place.
Oh,
Like one of
wow.
the things, like one of my claims to fame when I was younger was like, I don't even care. It doesn't matter that much anymore, but when you're younger, you're always looking for something to be special about. But
Yeah.
you go into every state in the United States. I've been to every state, and then
Oh,
tried to get to every continent, but I never did get to land on Australia or Antarctica. Almost got a mission to go to Antarctica, which would have been awesome, but couldn't do that. So I still got to hit up Australia and Antarctica to check off every continent on the planet. But
that'd be cool.
the travel was pretty frequent, and living all over the country, which was weird being a kid who grew up in Montana.
Yeah.
It's kind of isolated. I grew up in Butte, Montana, which most people know from Beavis and Buttheads. Oh, but Montana, that's where most people. It's actually a real place, but little mining town in the middle of nowhere, and then we
Yeah.
moved to Birmingham, Alabama out of that. And you want to talk
Oh,
about cultural
wow.
shock?
Yeah.
Ranch
Yeah.
kid who'd never seen anything, and then you go there and it's like, holy smokes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
My wife had something similar. So we met in college in Canada, straight out of nursing school. She ended up getting a job in northern Texas. So yeah, culture shock and just like, oh my God.
Canada, Texas, especially northern Texas.
Exactly. Yeah. So now what did you end up doing when you got out?
So I got out and went right to college,
Yeah.
university, got 2 degrees, then went into the heavy civil construction as
Okay.
a project manager. Did that
Nice.
for, if you count, because I worked through college too. I didn't
Yeah.
just, it was quote unquote an internship, but
Yeah.
I was working 50 hours a week still as an internship. So it wasn't really my job.
Wow.
Once I got out of college and got hired at the same place, my job didn't change at all. So I worked in that for about 10 years.
Yeah.
The last project I was on was the last project I was actually working on was down in Vegas. We lived in Vegas for about 4 years. Came back here to Montana.
Yeah.
Did a bunch of work on border wall projects.
Yeah.
2018, 2019, I think. And that industry's crazy, especially because the large heavy civil. You're building $200, $300, $400, $500 million projects that are
Holy crap.
spanning years. You're
Yeah.
building subways, or you're building, the one in Vegas. We rebuilt the entire pumping station that feeds all the water to Las Vegas. We built a whole brand new pumping station for them. And
Wow.
so you're working, like, a short week was 60, 65 hours. That was
Yeah.
a short work week. Normally it was pushing 70, 80. It was really busy. You were in there fucking 16. You didn't even count. You were just there every day, all day from,
Ugh.
4 or 5 in the morning till 8,
Yeah.
9 o'clock at night. Cause we were running 3 shifts. And So I got burned out. The money
Yeah.
was absurd. I made
Yep.
more money than I knew what to do with, but couldn't spend it. Couldn't do
Yep.
anything with it. Didn't see the family,
Oh, that's not good.
and said, "Screw this, I'm done."
Yeah.
And quit that about, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
No, because it was 2 years ago, or it was 2 years ago. So 2020 is when I quit. Now that I'm looking at, you just don't even. It was literally like 2 weeks before COVID.
Yeah.
Everything shut down before COVID. Maybe not even 2 weeks, like a week, maybe a week before COVID. Like
Yep.
shut everything down in March. That was when I turned in my 2 week notice,
Yeah.
and then the whole world came apart, and I was like, "Oh, did I just make a huge mistake walking away from a paycheck, and the whole
Yeah.
world's coming to an end?" And it's worked out great so far, but
Oh, that's good. Now, any from civilian to military, any remote memorable experiences that you could share? Like anything that sticks out?
oh god, it was the first you could go. You're 20, because I was 23, and I was in college classes with 18-year-olds who had
Yeah.
never seen anything outside of their basement.
Oh God.
And I'd traveled all over the world, seen the world, and this was starting to spool up right in the, when Barack Obama was getting elected, and we started
Yeah.
to get super hyper politicized and
Yeah.
drawing sides, and it really started to take off during that 2007,
Oh.
2008, 2009 timeframe.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in this classroom listening to these kids talk about just
Yep.
mind-blowingly stupid stuff that it's like, and you kind of can't get mad at them because they just don't know. They're just young, they're
Right.
18. So trying to go from the world of the Marine Corps air crew, a whole bunch of like-minded people, to now you live in this world where nobody understands you.
Yeah.
Was fortunate enough to make a couple of friends that were also vets there at school.
Oh, that's good.
Same age.
Yeah.
Still really good friends with them. And so you have somebody with commonality.
Right. Yeah. Makes it
And then
easy,
I'd met
at
my
least.
wife. Yeah, I'd met my wife before that. So her and I were actually together while I was in the Marine Corps.
Oh, cool.
Got married after I got out, but
Yeah.
it helps to have people with shared experience, and that's why you always see vets hanging around each other, because of
Yeah.
the shared experience, and then just this, you don't have to worry about somebody going and crying to mom because you called them a bad name, or
Right. Yeah.
you can be honest with each other and not worry about the bullshit. That's just straight up honesty, at least with the
Yeah.
group of guys I've always been around.
Oh, cool. So now, when
Excuse me.
did you start playing video games? Early age?
Way young. Nintendo,
Yeah.
old school Nintendo, Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt. That was the start. I think. I think that was my first system. I probably played some Atari or some
Yeah.
arcade games before that, but
Yeah.
like my first system was the regular Nintendo system, and then went up to Super Nintendo, and you never got a Sega because my neighbor had a Sega, so we'd play Sega games at his house. Then we'd come back to
Nice.
my house to play Nintendo games.
Yeah.
Ride your bike to Blockbuster and rent a
Uh-huh.
game and play it for the weekend with your allowance. That whole
Oh,
that
yeah.
whole experience that none of the youngins get anymore, and the good memories
Nope.
from that, staying
Yes.
up till midnight trying to hide from your parents playing games. And
Yeah. Yeah, where I grew up was the same thing basically, but we didn't have a console, so we rented it at the grocery store. We rented
Yeah,
the console, and yeah, you want to talk about all-nighters, and our hands would be killing because of those stupid square Nintendo controllers. Oh, it was awful.
that was so funny because that was part of the gig too before, because you couldn't afford to buy the new system. So you'd rent it, and you wanted to get every penny of it. Was like, that was probably the first time I learned about time and value of money, because it was like, I spent 2 weeks of allowance renting this Super Nintendo. I am going to get every penny out of it that I possibly can.
Yeah.
And that just started the whole game. And just loving games, just loving
Yeah.
the challenge and the immersion to them, getting sucked into them and living inside of them, and the stories. Like I some of the best stories, book or not, or movie, the most memorable ones to me are always around video. Halo, like
Yeah.
Halo, the story of Halo, especially when I was younger, not so much the more recent ones, but
Right.
up to like Halo Wars, basically the story of Halo was so just good.
Yeah.
And awesome. And then you've got things like what is it with the show now that's got Superman? Can't even think of the name of it.
Justice League, or
No. Henry Cavill plays the guy, but he's a medieval sword, long white
Witcher.
hair.
The Witcher.
The Witcher
Yes.
story stuff. That
Yep.
stuff. Like it's so cool that they make it a show because there's so much inside that video game and
Yeah.
how video games have so much story to them and stuff. And it's part
Yeah.
of what I'm super excited for. I can't wait to finally get Tarkov's full story.
I know.
We're playing this shell of a game that has no story to it. It's there. They just haven't showed it to us yet.
Yeah.
And they anxiously awaiting years and years for that.
Yeah, and they drop snippets and using social media to do it, and it's just it's I'm enjoying it right now. But
Yeah.
wait for the lore. So now, when did you transfer from console to PC?
So I've gone back and forth over the years quite a few times, actually. I started so I was console before PC gaming was really a thing. And then got into PC gaming. My first PC game was Age of Empires.
Yep.
My mom had a work computer, but Age of Empires, she had a computer at home. And this was back on dial-up days. And, you could send emails with spreadsheets and stuff. And that's what you did to work from home.
Right.
Email wasn't even really a commonplace thing. And so Age of Empires, I loaded that up, and then I went from Age of Empires, and I got into StarCraft, and there was an F-22 Raptor video game back then that I played a lot, and played those in Age of Empires 2, and we started, at that point, it was like, okay, now we got to upgrade computers. Now I want a computer that I can actually play games on, and, Asheron's Call, EverQuest, all of those old titles that people nowadays don't even know existed, but were they were the forerunners of all of the games we play today, and the mechanics and stuff. They come from those guys were the OG creators of those mechanics.
Yeah.
You think about EverQuest and how hard EverQuest was compared to today's games, and that's back when there wasn't even magazines or websites.
Right.
It was all lore inside the game. Like you had to go find somebody in the game that knew what they were doing for them to show you where to go, because there was no YouTube, there was no nothing. At best, you had gaming magazines that would have
a snippet or
cheats,
something.
or an article that was written about it with maybe 3 screenshots or something, but nothing nothing over the top. And then the mechanics that came out of that you see in everything today, from World of Warcraft to Tarkov to doesn't matter. The old Call of Duties and all you saw. It's something that I cherish growing up, like through that time frame, is I've seen the video games change, and I know where like what was the first game that had kill streaks, and what the whole system that Call of Duty owns as far as how it works. The first couple of games, when that was novel, the first time you got a kill streak and you got to drop you called a helicopter in, and it didn't do anything but fly in one spot, and but it was just this unreal change to games. And that whole progress has been, when you sit and think about it and you think back, and there's obviously some nostalgia there that makes it better than it really was, but 4-player Halo at your buddy's house on 4 split screen, and the stupid ways you try to come up with so you couldn't cheat off each other's screens with boxes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm a few years older than you, so I remember playing Atari 2600 Combat, and a tank was basically 2 rectangles and a square in the middle of it. But then how far it's come, from VR to just multi-screen games, racing and whatnot. It's pretty cool to, like you said, to experience where to start it to where we are now.
And then the multiplayer, for the longest time, computer games were barely multiplayer. You had, Blizzard was one of the first people to really revolutionize that with StarCraft and some of the Warcraft games and stuff. And there was people on parallel paths with them, and then you had Xbox with the Xbox Live, which what was it before? It was something before Live. I don't remember even what it was called, but the MSN Gaming Zone, which doesn't even exist anymore.
Right.
And,
Playing checkers with people and
Steam just coming out, and when Steam first came out, and how it was this crazy concept that you would download games, and back when you were still there, cable modem. Only the cool kids had cable internet. Everybody else was on 56.6.
Absolutely. Now, over the years, is there any game that really sticks out as your all-time favorite?
Tarkov.
Yeah.
And I have tons of favorites. Like I really love the Call of Duty series. Not so much lately, but I've got so many good memories playing with friends and having fun playing Call of Duty, and what it was back in the day. And Battlefield, love Battlefield. Bad Company 1 and 2, and Battlefield 4.
4 was
Battlefield.
Awesome.
There's such good games out there over the years, but none of them have sucked me in the way Tarkov has. And it's crazy to say that, because I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of games. I've forgotten more games than I've probably played.
Yeah.
And to think that there's a game that's only been out for a couple of years that I didn't even want anything to do with, when my buddies were trying to get me to play it at first. I was like, because I was in the middle of playing PUBG when, Tarkov and PUBG were kind of at that same time existence. And a couple of my buddies wanted me to come over and play Tarkov, and I watched a couple of videos of it, and I'm like, no way, dude, this looks so dumb. I'm not gonna
Too
play this. Too much
slow and
work. It's
yeah.
too much work, man. I ain't gonna do this. And then finally, I tried it out because PUBG was dying. There wasn't really
Yeah.
anything else to play, and so I was like, ah, screw it, we'll try it out. And then it was one of those things where I bought the cheap version, and then
Yep.
I don't know, 2-3 days later, I'm buying EOD because it's already.
It is amazing. This game is like crack. I'm the same way as you. Like I've thousands of games. My Steam library is dusty at this point because this game gives you a pucker factor, and you go away and it just draws you right back to it.
It's adrenaline. I
Yeah.
mean, there's not many games that you can play, and people make fun, like we do the shorts and the TikToks and all that
Yeah.
funny stuff, and I never even realized it till we started doing those, how many fucking weird faces I make when I play. But it's because I'm so dialed into the damn game that
Yeah.
it's. I mean, there's a clip of me where I'm fighting a guy somewhere, and I play standing a lot. Like my
Yeah.
desk goes up and I play standing, and he's like he's got an elevated position. I mean, he's shooting down on me, and I'm
Yeah.
like trying to get down on my desk while I'm playing, like I'm ducking his shots because I'm
Yeah.
so sucked into the damn game. But it's all in fun. I really don't care about people making fun of me. We make fun of ourselves about it. But I don't know that I've ever really experienced that with any other game to this
Right.
level.
Yeah, to like I remember first starting. I can still remember encounters from 2.5 years ago that are very vivid, or games like playing with my buddies. It's the same thing. Like we can recall moments where I don't remember games like that. There's like we can remember playing Call of Duty for an hour, playing gun game, but nothing specific on a like 35-minute engagement and how it went.
Yeah, because other games you pick up in 30 minutes. There's
Right.
30 minutes and you're running and gunning, you're playing the game just fine, right?
Yeah.
Tarkov is 3, 4, 500 hours depending on who you are before you even start to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And there's so many shared experiences along that path, which is part of the reason why I think people connect so well with Tarkov, because we always joke about it. Like everybody knows that piece of razor wire that's hanging off the wall by dorms because they've been creeping along the wall, scared out of their minds, just trying to get extract. They run into it and it scares the shit out of them because they get hurt.
Yeah.
Everybody has that. Everybody has had that experience that plays
Yeah.
Tarkov.
Absolutely. So now, what has been the most difficult thing learning Tarkov for you?
Trying to play the more aggressive, I guess you could call it W key, whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it. More like the lab style of gameplay.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that it's been difficult. I just don't enjoy it, so I don't do it. And it's part of just getting older. You understand that you get to a point where when I was younger, I loved grinding shit. I would grind the hell out of stuff, like achievements on Xbox. I would go
Yeah.
for the 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements on games. It didn't matter how sucky the task was.
Yeah.
But now it's like if it's not fun, I'm not going to do it. If I don't
Right.
have any reason to enjoy doing what I'm doing, why bother?
Yeah.
And I don't enjoy playing labs because of the style of gameplay. And it's not a shade at the guys that do that. I just
Yeah.
don't enjoy it.
No.
If I want to play like that, I'll pull up Call of Duty or I'll pull up Battlefield and I'll go play those games like that, not Tarkov.
Right. Exactly. Like for me, when I get to level 42, I consider my game is over. I'm playing the style I want to play. I've got everything I can buy, and I don't have to worry about quests. I don't have to go to do factory. I can just play the maps I like with the guns I like. But yeah, like you said, it's just having fun.
Yeah, and that's so for Tarkov. That's kind of the hardest thing for me and it's more self-driven, being a content creator, wanting to have access to everything that's going on and be able to create content where you need to. You kind of you feel forced to do things sometimes. Like I definitely, the start of a wipe, for example, I always feel pressured to try to get through certain things faster so that I can, I've got my traders unlocked, so I can do guides and videos and stuff like this. And was it 2 wipes ago? I don't remember. A couple of wipes ago, I got Kappa in 8 days or 9 days.
Yeah.
And blew right
crap.
through it. And then you don't have anything else to do for the rest of the wipe, really.
Right.
And
Yeah.
like this wipe, like the last 2 wipes with Kappa being at 62, I've got it, but I didn't, like, I don't go to labs to grind raiders or run around on factory to grind XP. I just played. And when I get there, I get there.
Yep. Now, do you prefer to play solo or with other people?
I don't have a preference. I like playing there. It's just different games.
Different style,
solo is a different game than duo, which is different than trio, which is different than, gaggle fuck or 5-mans as some people call them. But I've had fantastic experiences across the whole board. I love
Yeah.
like my thing as a solo is I love going and fighting squads,
Hmm.
and I don't. My survival rate's really low against it because it's hard to fight squads as a solo, but it's
It
so
is.
much fun. And that 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 times that you actually beat all 3, 4, or 5 of them as one guy
Yeah.
is so incredibly rewarding. But you got to play different. You got to play completely different as a solo than when you're a squad.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said, when the 5-man, you call it a gaggle fuck. Dude, 5-mans will destroy friendships in this game. Oh my god.
We've actually, well, I don't know. Yeah, there's actually a couple of guys that we don't, that we're in the Discord OGs that don't play with us anymore because, you know, you get those different personalities, and boy, the rawness of people's
Oh.
personalities comes out in a quick hurry when you accidentally team kill, or
Oh
you
yeah.
don't shoot the guy you were supposed to shoot, or, you mix up the loot, or, it just, the raw emotion that Tarkov can pull out of people. It's hard to find a group of guys to play with that are 2 or 3 that you can all chill and just get
Right.
along and do well, but let alone find 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah. Yeah. The one thing I've really noticed with this game is shows how bad we are at communicating. Like on comms. It's just, you
Well,
need
comms
to
are
learn.
super hard. I mean,
Yeah.
even having training, if however you want to call it, being in the
Right.
military, you do learn comms, and especially in aircraft, you
Yeah.
learn there's certain principles to communication that you learn that help, but it's still like having, and Discord allows you to cheat a little bit, right? Because you can
Yes.
pull each other's screens up, and there's a
Yeah.
little bit of help there, but it's also a disadvantage because how many times have you seen the streamer looking up at his buddy's stream and then he gets smoked because he's not
Right.
watching what he's doing, or
Yeah.
but it does, that helps with the communication side a little bit until you pull, you got 4 streams up and you don't know who's who, and everybody's
Right.
running around, and that's the thing about a solo that's fun is you get to take advantage of that. I've had raids where I'm running them. Like there's a 4-man and I'm running with them, and I run with them for like 5 minutes, and they still have no idea that I'm not with them.
Yeah. Oh my god. So now, were you playing before the flea market was available?
I started that wipe right after that. I
Oh,
started,
okay.
I don't remember the exact, I could probably go look at the email, but it was like mid-November of
Yeah.
2019. So they just added the hideout. They just added reserve.
Yep.
I don't know. That wasn't where they added the flea market before that. I don't
Flea
remember
market
how far.
flea market was before that one.
But this was when the flea market there was no found and raid. It was just
Yep.
all free for all. You could
Oh
buy
yeah.
and sell
Make
everything.
so much
and,
money. Yep.
oh yeah, flipping and arbitrage out the walls. You didn't even have to play, and you could make 10 million an hour. Kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And that's when I got started. So I started about a month and a half before, maybe I guess 2 months before the huge explosion. When Pestily was doing his
Christmas.
monster stream with the drops, and
Yeah.
the game was broke for like a month and a half. Basically, it was hard to get into raids,
Yep.
and disconnects, and it was kind of before the hacking got really bad again. Because I remember hearing guys talk about that there was a phase for a while where hacking was really bad on Tarkov before they
Yep.
like added Battle Alliance stuff, and then it calmed down a little bit, and then this huge popularity of this insanely hard game, and all of a sudden you started to see it more and more. So
Yeah.
I'm not one of the OG guys from way back when, but I've still been around long enough to know that, or see the trends with every wipe, and the personalities that come and go, and
Oh yeah.
the theories and ideas about cheating, and BSG's ways, and
Yeah.
you name it, and it's 6 months. It's like clockwork. It's 6
It
months.
is.
You could go. I mean, you can literally go look at messages 6 months apart, and it's like the same trend every 6 months.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So now, who do you roll with mainly? Like when you're rolling with a team of people?
Right now, it's mostly solo. A lot of the
Yeah.
guys that I've played with over the years, especially this last wipe, they've graduated college, they've got jobs, they've kind of moved
Yeah.
on. They're not professional content creators; they just video game guys. They
Yeah.
don't play a lot of Tarkov anymore. So I've definitely done a lot more solo, and I've tried to reach out to other content creators. I'm just
Yeah.
really bad at it. It always feels so awkward reaching out to people and being like, "Hey, you want to play?" and not come off like you're trying to ride coatails or clout
Right,
chase or
yeah.
whatever, but you just want to play with folks. But the guy that I've played the most with, his name's Liston.
Yeah.
Him and I have been playing since January of 2020.
Yeah.
And together, him and I have as a squad, maybe not a duo, but with others, but at least him and I together, we probably have 3,000-4,000 hours
Yeah.
of game together. And
Shoot.
it makes for an awesome dynamic because there's not a lot of communication needed. We know exactly what each other are going to do.
Yep.
We know how we think, and it makes for some really interesting fights. I've wanted to get more content driven around that because
Yeah.
it's fun to watch two people
Right.
that are that well coordinated with each other fight in Tarkov, because it's just amazing stuff happens, and it's a lot of fun. But I play with a couple of buddies here and there when I can. But as far as other streamers, not really anybody in particular.
Yeah.
But I've played with a couple here and there. But we'll see. We'll keep working on it. Try to get better at the whole networking thing, because I'm
Yeah.
awful at it. I'm just horrible.
Okay. So here's your chance. You got an all-star squad you're picking. Who OGs, people playing currently, who's your 4 other guys or 3 other people you want to roll with?
There's so much, you got your hero, Pestely's got to be on the list, because he's one of the, when I was trying to learn the game, he was one of the first guys I watched, right? And then his story is his story is a part of why I decided to get into content creation,
Yeah.
But Pestely probably definitely be one of them. Liston, of course, just because him and I have so many games together.
Yeah.
Oh man, some of the other guys that are fun, because it's more about having fun.
Yep.
Like winning is good, but you want a crew of guys that can enjoy the game.
Exactly.
I think I would love to put Dr. Disrespect into that group.
Yeah.
Just because I've watching him, especially this last wipe with Dr. Lupo, has been it's great watching him play Tarkov, because he was the very first, when somebody introduced me to streaming and I had no idea, what do you mean? What do you mean Twitch? What the hell is that?
Yeah.
He was him in PUBG was the very first streams I ever watched. I'm like, who is this goofy bastard?
Right?
Wait, is this real? No, this has got to be an act. And then you start to learn what it is, and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. But his personality, just the over the topness of it is fun.
Yeah.
And I enjoy it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's not for everybody, but
no.
He's got to be in that group. So I guess I got to pick one more then.
One more, yeah.
Oh boy. My other buddy, probably Peanut. We call his name Safety Peanut. But he's he's got one-liners out he's always telling dad jokes. He's not even a dad, but he's got the best dad jokes in the world. So you'll be right in the middle of you'll be right in the middle of a firefight, and he'll say something that'll just get you laughing. Breaks the tension, makes things fun again, and
cool.
Just a good group of guys to have.
All right, so there we go. There's the all-star squad. So now with wipe is on the cusp. Something's happening. What prediction do you have?
Oh, I'm on the record on my channel talking about it, thinking, and I have been for a while, that thinking wipe was going to kind of be mid to end of June.
Yeah.
Just because BSG has trends, right? Mm-hmm. And you can kind of tell by the level of social media, and when we start seeing pictures of stuff, and just different things happen, and completely excluding the pre-wipe events that we have now that really, really tell us, hey, we're getting into it, because just the cycle, 6 months. And I don't think that they built. So the way I see it, and I don't have any inside knowledge, just kind of my understanding of project management and how things work is, they don't set a date for the wipe, but their wipe is based on the content they're doing and the development process. And their development process just happens to be on 6-month windows right now.
Yeah.
Which works for a lot of different reasons. There's a lot of reasons to do 6 months, and they take advantage of that on a marketing side, which it's all really smart. I don't begrudge them for what they're doing. I just understand what they're doing. Some people get pissed off about it, and I don't understand it, but they do 6-month development cycles, and that falls in with the wipe, and then they use that as a great marketing tool, and they keep the game going and keep generating revenue. And so that kind of set for me, 6 months from December 12th was June 12th. And so I figured maybe it's going to go a little bit longer. They've got some more stuff. They're some huge mechanics they're starting to get into changing, and not as huge as 12-12 was. 12-12 really, this last wipe was the most different wipe I've ever played. And I've talked to guys like Jesse Kazam and some of the others that have played longer than me, and they said the same thing, that this wipe was by far the most fun. For guys like us that are content creators that have thousands and thousands of hours, you can hate on that if you want, because we're a different species, which we are. It's a different, we look at the game different than everybody else, but you know, it was probably one of the most fun wipes I had. I really enjoyed inertia. I don't think it's
Mm-hmm.
perfect. I think it can still be tweaked, but I
Yep.
really enjoyed what it did. The ballistics was an awesome change. I still think it needs work, but
Yeah.
it's, you know, it's progress in the right direction. Um, you know, like making things harder to find and raid and harder to get, you know, not seeing slicks and hex grids everywhere.
Right.
And, you know, MC, you get killed by like, I, I can't even remember how many times I've died to M61 this wipe. I like maybe 4 or 5 times that I've actually died to M60. It's always
Yeah.
M62 or M80.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas wipes before, you know, you're
Oh, everybody's
6 weeks in
rolling.
and it's M61, 995, 855A1, you know,
Yeah.
it's all the top end gear.
Yeah. And
And I think that it's,
the civilians flea market change was huge as well.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The bans on the flea market and capping it, you know, I think they did right by putting it at 20. I understand why people wanted it 15 or lower. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to argue with people and say, no, you're wrong. It should be at 20. Me, I think it's better at 20. You want it
Yeah.
at 15. I understand it. I don't, you know, and that's kind of what for my philosophy with BSG, which is why I never get really spooled up over stuff like this last change with the whole RMT thing. There
Yeah.
was a lot of people that got really
Oh my
spooled up and pissed
God.
off over it.
Yeah.
And some of it I didn't like, but it's BSG's game. I'm going to
Exactly.
enjoy the game for what it is,
Yeah.
not try to get mad because it's something that I don't want.
Right.
And because I'm not playing Tarkov, I literally didn't want to play Tarkov, and that's what drew me to it initially. It was this gritty, punishing, horribly mean game
Yeah.
that just sucked you in more and more and more every time you played it. Something different happened, something new. You're always learning.
Oh
I get
yeah.
6,000. I've got over 6,000 hours in the game, and I still learn stuff all the
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely. So now, you know, I refer to you as the Jim Cramer of Tarkov, you know, trends analysis and everything like that. So were you looking at that before you started down the content creation side of it? Or that was I can do this because of,
So
you know,
it's a lot of it is just efficiency, right? And
yeah.
that's what I did. That was a big part of my job in the construction side with real dollars, but you know, it was look at a system and find a way to make the most money out of it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you did. You know, how do you limit your cost on materials? How do you get your crews to work faster? You know, all that stuff on the construction side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how do you make more money? And so good with spreadsheets and good with all that kind of jazz. You get
Yeah.
into Tarkov and there's a whole economy, and I'm like, ooh, this is kind of fun. And it was
Yeah.
just out of an enjoyment thing. And
Yeah.
I realized looking through YouTube content that there wasn't really much out there, and what was
Right.
out there wasn't very good. So I was like, screw it,
Yeah.
let's just start doing that along other things. And I just kind of did all sorts of content when I first got it started.
Yeah.
But what really started driving people to my channel was the crafting guides,
Yeah.
doing the hideout, you know, showing you how to make the most money, because it was all spurred
Right.
from conversations. We'd be sitting there arguing over stuff in Discord about, no, this craft's better. No, it's not because of this. And then you got to take into account for the time. Well, what about, I mean, for the longest time, we thought stacking crafts was the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
You know, crafting red gunpowder and then using red gunpowder to craft something else. And like, that was, oh yeah, that's the most money. And then we put it into a spreadsheet and we were like, oh shit, we've all been wrong this whole damn time. And you know, that's kind of like one of the 10 command. Anybody's been around on the channel long enough knows that was one of the commandments for a long time in the crafting videos is don't stack crafts. You know, that's how we put it up. And I sound like such a nerd talking about this side of the game, but it's fun for me. It's
You're
always
right.
fun finding the holes in the systems and trying to min max that kind of stuff. That's enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
And be able to share that knowledge with people who, because I started off where a lot of these other guys are at, right? I worked 60, 70 hours a week. I got maybe 5 hours of Tarkov in if I was lucky. You know, if the family was out of town for the weekend, maybe I could get 15 hours in because I could spend a weekend playing and, you know, whatever. But you don't have time to research this stuff. You don't have time to learn it yourself. You're limited to your precious few raids you get in, and they're very important to you. And so anything I could do to help folks out like that, that's kind of where I've always approached my content is how do I get as much of my knowledge that I've learned the hard way crammed into information that's easy to digest and easy for people to use to make their gaming experience better. And to really enjoy Tarkov, because not everybody has fun in figuring out what all the most profitable crafts are, but they want to craft what's the most profitable thing, right? So I can give that to them.
Yeah. That's the you know, two good points here. Is, you know, first, how I found you was your videos on, you know, what you can get out of the market, best value and everything like that. But like, you know, also, you know, with the traders, like figuring out what traders, you know, trade what to get this to, you know,
barter systems.
So it's just, but with Tarkov, that's I think one of the nice things about this game. There's so many different ways to play it, whether you just enjoy playing the market, whether you're enjoying just doing the gun thing of it. There's just, yeah, it's such a great game they have.
The ability to feed so many different play styles, and they're not balanced. I'm not going to say they're balanced, but you can play and be success. You can play Tarkov in so many different ways and be successful.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
the rat versus Chad thing I get, and I've always got our Discord and our group is kind of got an interesting dynamic because my Discord's full of all the guys that love the economy stuff and the barter stuff, and
Yeah,
we're always talking about it, and everybody's like it's rat versus Chad, and I'm like no, it's a circle of life because the rats are the ones that sell all the shit that the Chads buy to use to kill the rats, and it's just this circle, and you can see it at the end of the wipe when that circle breaks because people aren't there selling stuff or people aren't there buying stuff, and these two supposedly opposing play styles are actually dependent on one another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's a T-shirt for you right there. The Circle of Life of Tarkov.
That's actually a really good idea.
So now, when it comes to content creation, what made you go live? Was it COVID?
At first, it was just a hobby. So when I quit my job, I was going to go. I've been doing real estate for a very long time on the side, right?
Yeah.
And I was going to go full real estate when I quit my job, just flipping houses, doing renos, foreclosures, the whole 9 yards. But COVID was the biggest of monkey wrenches in the world with that.
Oh yeah.
The market where I'm at here in Montana is absurd.
Yeah.
And then to travel, I had ideas to go. I was looking around Florida and Oklahoma and Texas and other places to do real estate, but then traveling with COVID became such a huge pain in the ass. And then the market had the housing market did so many weird things because of COVID that you could have said were predictable, but not really. And so it really just kind of turned me off of it. And I was already doing kind of YouTube on the side and a little bit of Twitch streaming just for fun, just to try it out, see what it was about. And then we just started doing it more and more and more. And then the Christmas wipe happened. And everything just took off like crazy. And I was like, oh shit, I can actually do this. Is actually something that's doable. Holy crap. And not so much this realization of I didn't think it was possible, but more of, I'm not even really trying all that hard and it's working okay. So what happens if we dump everything into it? How to talk with the wife and like I said, we had enough money saved up from all the years of working at the traditional job that it was. I was like, screw it. We'll try this for a while, see how it works, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, there's two things there. One is a common theme with a lot of the content creators that have come on is having that support mechanism behind them, their spouse, their their girlfriend, their wife, or whatnot. Just being there, it makes things easier and just it just works.
Yeah, from the outside, especially from people that don't have any knowledge of it, they think content creation is like the easiest cake job on the planet.
Yeah.
And the only people that content creation is easy for are the people that aren't good at it.
Yeah.
If you're successful and you're good at doing content creation, whether that content creation is streaming, whether you're a really entertaining streamer and people love watching you, or you're making really good content on YouTube, or you're doing whatever that content creation niche you fall into, it is a ton of work because there are so many people doing it. For one, there's so many people doing it that the competition, there's just so many people to try to wade through.
Right.
But the people that are good at it, that are at the top, are really good at it. And you're competing with good people to get that top of the cream, if you will. So for me, that was a really cool challenge. That was something really hard. That's kind of always where I've gone with life is the harder thing.
Yeah.
What's the hardest thing to do? The most challenging. Let's go do that because that'll be the most fun.
Yeah.
And it ended up realizing how much work and how difficult this whole, to make a brand, to make a YouTube channel, to run a Discord, which anybody who's getting started in this, don't run a Discord. That's the most painful, hard, time-consuming thing on the planet is a Discord chat. I'm not actually saying, I'm joking around. Like the unexpectedness of everything else that I manage, the Discord channel is probably one of the most things that is the most time-consuming, distracting, is trying to keep that place that zoo under control and balanced and people not trying to be mean to each other, but all the different dynamics of stuff that you just don't realize when it's sure, you can stream and just hit start on your OBS and 4 or 5 people and that's what you want to do, that's fine. But if you want to turn this into a living, you want to do this, it's a business, it's a job, and it requires working with very eclectic personalities across the board in everything you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So now what was first? Was Twitch first for you or was it YouTube
Y-
making videos?
I, I, they were essentially at the same time.
Yeah.
I think I started making YouTube videos first, but it might have been just like I made one video before I started streaming, and it was just
Yeah.
because technically one had to start before the other.
Yeah.
I, for me, it was just kind of a dual path thing.
Yeah.
I'm a huge follower of Devin Nash and Harris Heller and those kind of guys, and
Yeah.
um, they always have preached about streaming shouldn't be your focus. YouTube should be your focus,
Yeah.
and that's how I've always gone at it. YouTube has always been the focus, and every bit of success I've had on Twitch is primarily from YouTube.
Yeah.
We run a poll in the chat anytime. 99% of the people in my chat are from YouTube.
Yeah.
We're starting to get some from like TikTok and stuff now, which I
Right.
never expected. Like people will show me like, "Yo, I saw your TikToks. I wanted to come see you stream." I'm like, "Oh God, we'd be 38-year-old gamer doing goofy content on TikTok, and people actually enjoy it. I just never would have believed it."
Yeah. Yeah. This whole TikTok thing, I threw a few up there and I don't get it. I just, as older guys, like some of the stuff I see is like, I see my daughters on TikTok. I don't get it. But hey, it's the nature of the beast, I guess. It's just the way things are going.
Yeah, you have to. Like, I didn't touch Twitter. I wouldn't touch it. It was radioactive to me. I wanted nothing
Yeah.
to do with Twitter. It was just no, I'm not going to do anything. And then after about a year of doing this, I was like, shit, I actually kind of need to get on Twitter because just for this, you need to be there, right?
Right.
And there's good and bad with it, obviously,
Mhm.
and it's completely just Tarkov or gaming content. I don't get into the other
Oh God.
politics or all the
No,
other
no.
kind of crap that Twitter is there for. It's all Tarkov, which is good because it filters it out with the occasion of people that kind of drag it into that sphere. But
Yeah.
you kind of have with BSG, especially as a content creator, you have to have it because they do so much information out that way.
Absolutely.
And I always joke around with the people that watch the content we do is like, you don't have to wade into the shithole of Twitter because I'll do it for you and tell you what's going on, And that's what we
Perfect.
try to do.
Yeah. Oh. So now, was there a moment where it hit that you said, I got this. We can do this full time now. I don't have to worry about real estate.
The realization hit me before we really took off because I've done so much studying of so many different people, Graham Stephan,
Yeah.
big YouTubers, and understood the scale of it and understood exactly how it monetizes and where you make your money from and all that other stuff. I understood all of that, so I knew it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a matter of one of those things of if it was something I was going to want to do. Was
Yeah.
this going to be something I enjoyed and I liked doing, or was this going to be another 9 to 5 job where I just busted my ass all day,
Right.
hated my life, made money, but it was just a job, right? I didn't
Yeah.
want to do that. I've done that for 10 years. I didn't want to do it again. I want to try something different.
Yeah.
And so the realization wasn't so much that I could make money at doing it. It was more that this is really enjoyable, even though it's something completely outside of my wheelhouse. Because
Yeah.
being in the Marine Corps, being engineering, construction, you're completely, what is that, left brain, whatever, right brain, left brain, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
The math side of things are, very straightforward. Now you're getting into kind of the artsy fartsy stuff where you're having to be creative and do things
Yeah.
that are entertaining and write scripts and worry about what a thumbnail looks like and all this other stuff that I'd never even used that side of my brain before,
Yeah.
which is incredibly challenging but so rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
And enjoying that. And then on the flip side, I still get to scratch the other itches because I'm just an analytics junkie. I love
Right.
analytics. I love it, looking at why things work the way they do. And
Yeah.
so just trying to figure that out and put the pieces all together, and then you make a product, and then you just sit there and watch it for like 4 hours. Is this it? Is this it? And then wah. And then you do you do a video that you didn't spend all that much effort on, and it goes to the moon. And
Yeah.
then you have to go back to the books and figure out why that happened. And that's the part that I enjoyed. And that dawned on me pretty heavily right after the Christmas wipe, because that's when we blew up. We were,
Yeah.
I think we got partnered on YouTube in October of 2020. I think, is that right? Or was it 2020, October 2020, we had like 1,000 subs or whatever it was.
Yeah.
1,500 subs. And we were going like into the Christmas wipe. We were doing like, 2,000 or 2,500, I think. And then by the end of January, we were at 25,000.
Yeah.
So we 10x'd our subs in a month. And it was a
Wow.
crazy month because I didn't have any editors yet. I was doing everything myself still.
Yeah.
And I was doing, in 45 days, I did 50 videos.
Yeah. Holy crap.
And that was part of that. We were cranking out videos like crazy for that wipe and doing all that stuff. And then it dawned on me that this isn't just possible. This is fun.
Yeah.
So and that's when we started really going heavy at it and denoting every square bit of time that I had.
Yeah.
I work more. I technically work more now than I did before because I
But it's fun
just
though.
sit in my office. But I can get
Yeah.
up in the middle of the day and I can go hang out with my kids for an hour. I can go eat
Yeah.
dinner or what. There's the flexibility there is like no other, which is one of the things that I love the most about it. Is
That's
like
that's
my kids
awesome.
are. I can see my kids right now making a mess in their bedroom.
You hit two good points there that have been echoed from other content creators that have been on here, and one of them is, focused on YouTube versus Twitch. That's a lot of them is if they could go back, that would be one of the first things they would do, and then the second thing they would like to do or would have changed, get an editor sooner than later, because that saved them so much time.
The really big thing, and I can't remember. Pestily was either on Devin Nash's podcast or he was on, I can't remember what podcast it is. It's the guy, the old Russian FPS guy.
Oh, okay, yep,
Whatever podcast that
yes, I
was,
remember.
I can't remember. He was talking on there, and that was one of the things that where he's at now, and this is after he's grown really big and he's doing
Hmm.
all this other stuff. He said that he wished he had done way before that was bring an editor on.
Yeah,
And for me, it just made perfect sense because it's the same kind of thing we do in construction. If you have something that needs to be done and you don't have the manpower to do it, you go find a subcontractor that'll do it for you. You pay
yeah,
them, and then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to think about it. You can focus on other stuff because there's only so much you can do in a day. There's only
hmm,
so much stuff your brain can handle. There's only so many hours. So you have to find more people to do the work.
yeah,
And so I reached out to my community and asked for anybody who was willing to start, just doing gameplay edits. I was still going to
yeah,
do all my stuff, but here, let's start doing some gameplay stuff and throw that up on the YouTube channel as well and see how it goes. And
yeah,
that's where I found Church.
yeah.
He had never edited before. I'm the first guy
Oh,
he's ever
no
edited
way.
for. So it's
Oh,
been a growth for both of us,
yeah.
and he's still editing for me. You know.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, he's one half of the Scav Talk crew, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, very cool. Ah, so now what's been the toughest thing in this content creation, field that you're going down?
Oh God, the self doubt,
Yeah,
trying to, is this the right idea? Is this the right path? Is this the right thing I'm doing? And being willing to fail,
yeah,
being willing to spend 3 weeks working on a project and just have it blow up in your face.
yeah,
But you didn't, you still learn in that whole thing. You learn stuff that you can do. And even failures aren't really failures. You're still going to get views on YouTube. You're still going to
right.
get feedback on them. You're still going to learn the process. You're going to learn more about editing certain ways.
Yeah,
But you have to be willing to do that and choke that down and swallow your pride essentially and
yeah.
just work through it. And then like right now, like as of late, the biggest struggle I've had is because we've primarily been informational content,
Yeah.
and that's very restricted to a niche in Tarkov. You're getting new
Hmm.
players, and it works. It's good. It's a good source of views and content for YouTube, but
Yeah.
it's got an expiration date. Tarkov's going to be
Oh,
over
yeah.
eventually. And the only way you can do this for longer is you have to be able to do narrative style or storytelling or
Right.
entertaining content.
Hmm.
And I know every content creator is going through. Like I'm watching Pestily. You can watch Pestily go through it right
Oh,
now. I mean,
yeah.
he's talked about it. You see other guys that are not doing it versus guys that are doing it. And how do you get to be where you're that content creator that's like Frost for you know um, uh, Rust and
Right.
some of these other guys, Aqua kind of an example, but these
Yeah.
guys that do General Sam, there's another one that
Yeah.
they do just straight entertainment, right? Their content is entertaining, people love it, and a lot of people watch it.
Yeah.
How do you, for me to transition to that is where I'm struggling right now because
Right.
that's so foreign to me to do that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Like you
we're
said.
trying, we're doing some new things, and
Yeah.
but it makes for a struggle because you get so focused on that you stop doing your other content, and then you're sitting here 3 months down the road and you're like, oh shit, I only did one video a week the last month and a half,
Right.
and the YouTube channel's dying, quote unquote, and it's
Yeah.
not really, but you know. We as content creators, we have the fortune of a wipe every 6 months that literally resets everything,
Yeah.
and
You could
you know,
create new content essentially.
yep,
Ah. So now, what has been sort of the highlight through this whole, in the last couple of years?
the people
Yeah.
like we've done a real the guys that mod for me, the guys that mod for me are just my buddies that I met playing Tarkov out the gate,
Yeah.
before getting into content creation. They've been here for the whole ride. It's, they've helped out with so much different things as far as, the Discord or content or thumbnails or video ideas or whatever. The number of things they've helped with has been unreal. But meeting those guys and then the community that we've created in the Discord as well
Yeah.
as the stream, we run a tight ship to a degree to where we don't tolerate much as far as people being shitheads or
Yeah.
we don't tolerate toxicity. If somebody rolls up and they're toxic, they're gone, kind of deal,
Yeah.
right? And because of that, the group of people that are around and hanging out and stream and talking, it's so wild for me to be sitting here in Montana.
Yeah.
And we get people from Cuba and the Philippines and Australia and Russia, India. It doesn't. There's people all over the world that come in
Yeah.
and chat and talk and hang out and enjoy video games. And then you look at the broader spectrum of what the Tarkov community is and the group of people that are in it that are just super cool people.
Yeah.
Those are the people that when I first got started, I had that whole list of content creators. I was like, all right, these are the guys I need to watch and I learn from and figure out how
Yeah.
to do this. And, that whole group of guys and just how helpful and friendly they all are. And
Right.
it's just something you wouldn't have expected. The community like that to get as close as you can with people that you've never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the guys on Twitch, they see my face every day. I
Yeah.
haven't seen any of their faces, but you got guys that you talk with about how their wives and kids are doing and
Yeah.
what they've got jobs and they're graduating from college or they've got a new job or they're moving. And, it's just, was something I didn't expect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really amazing, like you said, and then a lot of the other people say the same thing about the content creation or being a content creator. Their communities, it's just the bond you get. And do you think part of the reason why the Tarkov community is a good place is because of the mature crowd that because it's a mature
100%.
game?
It's
Yeah.
older. It's just older, and you see it when you work around large swaths of ages of people, which I did in construction. You had
Yeah.
kids that were 18 years old out of high school that were working either laborers or kids that are 22 that just got out of college that are on the the management side to
Yeah.
guys that have been in there for 40 years and are both
Right.
they worked as a laborer or equipment operator until they were 20, 30 years, and then they went to the management side as a superintendent or something. And
Yeah.
so you see how people of different ages just act and react and do things. And the gaming community is young. It just is
Yeah.
what it is. But there are a lot of people that are my age or your age or even
Yeah.
older, like Toast Track or,
Yeah.
there's a couple of guys that hang out in my stream now and again. I say now and again, they're there almost every day I stream, but, they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and
Yeah.
they play a little bit of Tarkov here and there, and they just enjoy the shit out of it. And,
Yeah.
for guys like me, that was nice to find because I knew there was people out there like that. But
Yeah.
when I grew up, gaming was you were a nerd. You didn't,
Exactly. Yeah.
until like consoles, Xboxes, and Halo. Like that was okay. You go play with your buddies. But if you were playing PC games, that was that just wasn't accepted.
No.
And my dad is super old school.
Yeah.
And my mom was a little bit too, but my dad didn't have electricity till he was like 19. Like
Yeah.
old school rancher, old school. And he actually supported it as a kid. He told my
Yeah.
mom. My mom was kind of worried about how much time I was spending on video games, this, that, and the other. And my dad was like, "Well, would you want to spend $60 on a video game or $400 on bail because he's doing drugs?"
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty good point." And you have to balance it in life like anything else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I still did football and I went into the Marine Corps and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
But finding people of my generation or older,
Mhm.
basically, what do you want to say? Probably 87, 88, born there or younger,
Right. Yeah.
or there before, older than that.
Yeah.
That's kind of like where you see that line where gaming kind of made this transition from being a nerdy hobby
kiddie
to something that
thing,
was
yeah.
widely accepted.
Yeah.
Because that's right around the age that people don't mind my kids just kind of come and go as they please.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But how do your not your peers, but your friends in IRL, do they have any concept of, like they
Some
look
of
at
them
you
do.
like,
So my family still doesn't. I swear to God, I'm selling drugs or something because they still don't understand the idea of what do you mean you can make a living on YouTube or playing video games? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like the guys that I used to work with,
Yeah. Oh God.
I'm working in a group of guys where, you're getting paid on the low end $150,000 a year, on the high end $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
This is the industry I'm in with the group of people, that kind of guys that are used to this, work your ass off 60, 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's just life. That's what it is. And I'm like, see you guys, I'm gonna go play video games. And you talk with them now, and you go to dinner parties, or you go to, you hang, your kids meet with parents, and you're kind of sitting there talking, like, oh, what do you do? And I there's always this path in my mind of, well, do I feel like explaining it today, or do I just say I work from home on real estate?
Yeah.
I just kind of, because it's almost impossible to explain to people,
Yeah.
you need like a 3-hour YouTube video to be like, here is how you can do this, and
Yep.
it's real. It's not fake. And there's people making more money than they can ever possibly spend. And like, you think like Graham Stephan is like such a good example of, I hate to say low effort because I'm not trying to take away from what he does,
Mm-hmm.
but there's not this ungodly amount of editing he does. There's not like he spends a week working on a video. He does he's religiously done 3 videos a week forever,
Yeah.
and he's making millions of dollars a year on YouTube. And he doesn't have any, he didn't even go to college. He graduated high school, and he's doing this because
Yep.
he's seen as authority. He's smart. He knows how to make YouTube content. He knows what works. And so, yeah, it's definitely weird. My dad's always been supportive. He doesn't understand it,
Yeah.
but he trusts me to. I'm not going to say he's not worried, because he's like, well, you got your family, and you sure you're doing. I was like, and part of it's like, well, guys, I got enough money saved up. I can retire for 10 years if I wanted to. I don't need to be making money, but we're fine. Don't worry about us. If I get into trouble, I'll go get a job again. It's easy. It was one of the epiphanies I always had. One of the epiphanies I had that got me over something I always believed is the realization that I am valuable enough as an employee that I can come and go as I please.
Mm-hmm.
If I quit, and when I quit, my company did all sorts of stuff to try to get me to stay, and they made sure that, like, oh, if you ever want to come back, just let us know. You've always got a place here. And that whole process made me realize that, man, if this doesn't work out, who cares? I'll go get a job and go back to work.
Yep.
At the very least, I got a couple of years with my kids when they were younger.
Yep.
Because you get into the kind of soapboxy, talking like a dad kind of shit, but we as a society have stuff so screwed up on what's important to us, and I did too. I did for a long time.
Yeah.
Thinking about how important money was, and this, that, and the other, and this realization that the most valuable asset we have is time, and you never get it back. You never get more. All you can do is sell it.
Yeah.
You're just selling your time. And being able to be around my kids, and my wife, being able to spend time with her, and whether she enjoys it or not, I guess that's remains to be seen. But being able to see my kids grow up versus, like, I would go, because I would be getting up at 5 a.m. and not getting home till 9 or 10 o'clock at night. I would be in the same house as them. I wouldn't see my kids for a whole week, because they would be in bed, and I would be home after they went, or they would be in bed when I got up, and they would already be gone to bed by the time I got home.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go through their teenage years. I mean, they're girls, so they're going to get to be 16, 17, 18 and fucking hate me and not want anything to do with me.
End of middle school. That's when it gets,
So when that happens, if I need to get a job, I'll go get a job then. But I'm going to enjoy them when they're younger, and then when they're shitheads and they don't like me anymore, I can do some work. And then when they get to be like 22, 23, whatever, and they start to come back around again, then we're there.
Yeah. No,
Run along.
But you're so right, though. As older people, understanding that work-life balance, you could get a job that's going to pay you $30,000 more a year, maybe, but how much are you giving up that time, and you're not there for the baseball practices, dance lessons, all of that? That's just,
or just to enjoy even if you don't have kids, right? Kids are a big part of it, and would help me realize it. But if you're somebody who doesn't have kids, there's a lot to life, your friendships, experiences, things that, oh, you're doing when you're retired. Oh, yeah, really? You're going to go climb a mountain when you're fucking 65 years old? No.
Yep. No.
If you even make it that far, you might get hit by a bus and never get to enjoy that, right? So what's what's the point? You know,
Yeah.
and for me, like, I don't have a problem working. Like, I hate being like, I don't want to just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah.
So that idea of retiring at 65 and going and living on a beach just doesn't, and that doesn't appeal to me. Like, I'm going to want to
Yeah.
be doing something. I'll be, you know, even if I get bored and I want to go be a Walmart greeter just for
Right.
shits and giggles for a year, I might do that. Like, I've
Yeah.
thought about that as a thing, not to go, you know, because it's a you know, once you get into content creation, your brain just switches over, and now it's like, ooh, that could be content. Ooh, that could be content. And you know,
Yeah.
one of the wild ideas I had, nothing Tarkov related or gaming related,
Yeah.
is, you know, kind of it's you could go, somebody could go and just work all these different shitty jobs. You know,
Yeah.
go work at a fast food place, go work at construction, which I've done. You know, be a garbage truck. You work on a garbage truck. All these different things you could do, but do them for like 2 months and really experience as a person, or 3 months or 6 months.
Yeah.
Not because I need the money, but because I want to experience that job and get that life experience. And then
Yeah.
you could do a whole video vlog
Oh
on
yeah.
that and just talk about your experiences with these people and tell the stories. You know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
dirty. So basically dirty jobs almost,
Right. Yeah.
um, if you will. But yeah, for me, that's more realizing that that time thing. You only got
Yeah.
so much time and be able to experience it. And I was like, I've always hidden my gaming. I've always loved gaming, and I've
Yeah.
always like been like a closet gamer kind of deal. Not, I mean,
Yeah.
not really, but you know, you just don't talk about it at work. You talk about
Right.
football, or you talk about politics, or
Yeah.
what's in the news. You don't talk about the next game, Call of Duty, that's coming out. And
Nope.
until like you accidentally cross paths and somebody's like, oh yeah, I bought Call of Duty. Oh, you play Call of Duty? Me too. And then you guys are like talking in the coffee room until somebody walks in and you're like, oh
Right.
yeah, how about them Eagles, man? They won the Super Bowl. You know, you totally don't even want to talk about video games
Right.
around different people. And the
Nope.
realization of not caring about that anymore and be able to do this as a 38-year-old and still game with the kids and
Yeah.
have fun. And, you know, it was something special for me to be able
Yeah.
to cross that path, and
Yeah.
something
Well,
that's been a passion my whole life, and be able to do this,
yeah.
money or not, just to be able to do this.
Yeah. And the other thing, you know, with smaller kids, I remember playing, you know, Star
Yeah.
Wars Lego game with the kids, or Minecraft, and it's just, you know, it's a great thing to be able to share with your kids.
Yeah. And so we've been very strict with them as far as electronics, which is it seems so, what's the word? It's almost, I mean, it's hypocritical is kind of that, but it's more complicated. It
Yeah.
seems hypocritical, I'll just say, for me to be like, I literally sit on a computer screen for 12, 14, 16, 18 hours a day, depending on what's
Yeah.
going on, but not let my kids have more than an hour of TV, right?
Yeah.
But that's because we live in Montana and it's gorgeous outside, and I want them to be outside doing stuff.
Absolutely.
So we
Yeah.
really, really, really restricted their screen time.
Yeah.
But it's getting to the point now where, like, just because I want to do things with them, I want to get them into gaming a little bit, and,
Yeah.
you know, trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we get, you know, where do we, if we want to get them a computer, where do we do it? You know, how do we
Right.
set up the Xbox so it's kid safe and they don't get into
Yeah.
the other, you know, all these, we're starting to get into that now at the, you know,
Yeah.
7 and 8 years, almost 9-year olds. And but then still manage it and make sure that they're not spending too
Yeah.
much time on it.
Absolutely. All right, so back to content creation. So TikToks and shorts. So you're telling me you figured out the secrets to it?
I don't necessarily think, I like to think that I figured out the secrets
Yeah.
to it. I study the hell out of it,
Yeah.
but understanding the system and what works and then being able to recreate it are two separate things,
Yeah.
especially when you're an older guy like me.
Yeah.
I tell myself I was as good as a Landmark when I was younger. I don't know if I really was, and there's no
Yeah.
proof that I wasn't. So I'm just going to go ahead and say it, that I was
Yeah.
as good as Landmark and Shroud when I was a kid. But you get older, you just slow down, man. You're not as fast.
Absolutely.
You're not as accurate with shooters and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
it is just what it is. So your content has to focus in a different direction, and you
Mhm.
have to find those ways of being entertaining. And
Yeah.
TikTok is, there's some stuff to TikTok that if you do, and we've discovered, I mean, we've had some TikToks go to 70, 80, 100,000 views, like right out the gate. Like we had like 5 or 6 up, and all of a sudden we have one that did 70,000 views. I was like, what in the hell? And same thing with shorts. Like
Yeah.
we have a short that's got 450,000 or almost 500,000 views on it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it's just it was when they did the airdrop. It was the very first airdrop that fell down, and there was no science to that. We just were throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
But you do that, and then all of a sudden, then you start to see these trends in the videos that do well and the ones that don't. And you've got the analytics. You can go in there and see what people don't like, what people do.
Yeah.
And people not liking stuff isn't always a bad thing either. That can
Right.
drive engagement. And So yeah, I like to think we figured it out. We've done pretty good
Yeah.
as far as growing the channel and growing the stream. I say we because my editor Church, he's a partner in it. You know,
Yeah.
he's got a big part in how we do this and how we get videos done and put together. And so my whole process has been to figure out a platform,
Yeah.
get comfortable with it, and then we go to another one. And the beautiful thing about TikTok is we don't do anything special for TikTok. We
Yeah.
build our videos for YouTube Shorts,
Yep.
and then we just straight upload them to TikTok.
Oh yeah.
There's a couple of things we modify a little bit specifically for TikTok, like the news videos. We do some stuff on TikTok that we don't do on YouTube just because of the way the platform, the people on the platforms do consume a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we just make content and put it up on both. And we're still in the phase of okay, that was something cool. Let's make it a short.
Yeah.
And then you get all these different things and you just kind of figure out the trends, like, how, you do something that is hard to see, but you say, oh my God, watch this. And it's hard to see. And then people got to watch the TikTok 2 or 3 times to figure it out. Videos like that go bonkers because people are watching it over and over again. And they love that. The algorithm on TikTok likes that. And, doing things with music, or there's I don't want to call it a meme culture, but there's definitely trends on like kinds of music or kinds of TikToks, and you'll see it if you're on TikTok.
Yeah.
Every 5th video, even one might be about dogs, one might be about video games, another one is going to be some kind of thirst trap with a girl or whatever, and scantily wearing clothes. But all 3 of them use the same song and have a same rhythm to the video, and they're all 3 really popular videos. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm getting this now. There's people kind of get sucked into a certain kind of thing, and you can just make a video that fits that with any subject, and it gets people watched. Like, one of the most common things I see that blows me away now on Shorts and TikToks is the question, what game is this?
Yeah.
So there are tons and tons and tons of people that are watching content on the Shorts and TikTok algorithm that don't even know what Tarkov is. Whereas if you make a gameplay video, a long form video, the only people that see that are people that know what Tarkov is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I've dabbled in the short space, and I get that question all the time in the comments. What game is this? I was like, what do you mean what game it is? It's, but yeah, it's crazy.
Says it right below, dumbass. Sometimes that's the first thought that goes through my head when people ask me that. It's like the drill instructor comes out. It's like, well, fucking look at the bottom, you jackass. But then it's like, oh, this is Escape from Tarkov. You should check, that whole dual personality you got to have.
Use your inner voice versus, exactly. So now, what advice would you give somebody who's jumping into the space?
Be comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
Because they're not the majority of people. They're a very small minority of people. But they're all out there, and they will do nothing in life but try to ruin your day. And how, like, being older, once you get into kind of your 30s and late 30s and you're married and you have kids, you don't give 2 fucks what anybody thinks about you anymore.
Nope.
People are like, well, look at your giant nose. And I'm like, yeah, so what? Who cares? I mean, I'm not trying to date you. I don't care what you think, and it's like, they're just trying to come in and say something to get a rise out of you or hurt your feelings or whatever it is. And, as you're younger, that stuff burns, man. When you're in your teens and 20s and you haven't totally been, you haven't become
seasoned
comfortable with yourself.
Yeah.
And seasoned or turned into jerky a little bit, I guess. You have to be completely comfortable with yourself, because the internet is going to poke a hole in everything you do. And if you're not confident in what you're doing, not just yourself, but in what you're doing as a content creator, that is going to sow doubt.
Yeah.
And that, I've had a little bit, and I don't want to say I've had issue with it. It's definitely stuff that's crossed my mind now and again, and I just put it out of mind. But I can understand how soul crushing this sphere can be for people that are younger. Like, some of the kids I see, especially some of the women that you see do this, like, I don't understand how you do this as a 22, 23, 24-year-old girl. How, and you are amazing, the fact that you can do this and survive in this world, because it's ruthless. But it is rewarding, and it sounds simple to say, to be confident in yourself, but it is so important. And there's a lot of tools out there. You don't need people, if you're a 3 or a 4 viewer streamer and you've got people coming in or shit talking, ban them. You don't need them. They're not going to do anything but make your community worse. And so just because it's 25% of the people that are currently watching your stream, it's not worth it.
No.
And I've done that on YouTube. It doesn't matter where I'm at. If I got somebody that comes in and says something that's just really shitty, the first thing, YouTube, it's easy. Hide from channel. Poof.
Yeah.
It's literally a shadow ban. It's amazing. They have no idea they were banned. They still watch your content. You still get ad revenue from them. Or, and one of the other things I do is I turn it into a game. There's people make shitty comments or argue with you, and you just troll them because then they keep commenting. You get this giant comment thread, and YouTube loves comments, and now you've got all this extra engagement, and that's all they're doing is adding to your ability, the reach of your video through all this engagement. And
Yeah.
you just don't take it personal. You just screw with them. It
Right.
just depends on the mood of the day. And we get guys that come in stream that are toxic, and if it's something we can have fun with, we'll have fun with it for a little bit. But
Yeah.
if it's something that immediately changes the vibe of the stream, I don't care. I don't
Yeah,
wait for
it's
an
your
apology.
channel.
Just get rid of them. And
Yep.
so if you're getting started, that's what's important, is remember that your mental well-being is going to, it's not just important, it's incredibly important for yourself, but it is going to drive everything you do. It's going to show up in everything you do.
Yeah.
So if you're in a shitty mood, it's going to show up in any of the content you create. And so do everything you can do to keep that from happening. And
All right.
just be confident in yourself, I guess, is the best advice I could give people.
That
You
is-
just have to.
That is great advice. All right. So, any content creators that you're watching that are sort of flying under the radar or that people should check out?
God, I need to watch a lot more. For me, it's more about analytics. Like I watch tons of videos from tons of different people, but it's me trying
Yeah.
to figure out why that video did really well.
Yeah.
It's not so much because I love their content. It's like, okay, the Tarkov community love this content. Why? How do I
Yeah.
replicate that? Um, as much as I used to watch content creators all the time, I just don't anymore. I don't have time. I'm so engrossed in what I'm doing that,
Yeah.
trying to hang out in somebody's stream for more than a half hour, 45 minutes, I'm watching it. And then on my other monitor, I'm already typing a script and not even paying attention to what I'm doing. And,
Right.
but, there's a couple of guys out there. Tulu is a very interesting guy. I've been watching a lot of his content because he's found a thread that I haven't completely figured out yet, but his videos are killing it on YouTube.
Oh.
And he's, when everybody else that does guide content like me,
Yeah.
guys like me, Jesse, One Peg, Nice Guy's a little bit different of a realm, but you see it. Our videos go from getting 50, 60, 70, 80,000 views down to 20, 30, 10, 5 or 6,000, whatever it may be at the end of the wipe.
Yeah.
Tulu's videos are still getting 70, 80,000 pretty
Oh, wow.
consistently. Sometimes 100, and it's because of how he structures his videos. It's more
Yeah.
narrative style.
Okay.
Small guy that I watch a lot that I really enjoy, Ex Living Ghost. He's trying to make his way. His channel's just getting started.
Yeah.
Stream. He's doing the stream thing. He just got done moving a house, so trying to stream and do content, and then when you're trying to deal with anything
God.
big in the real world, it's hard. But
Yeah.
he's kind of one of those guys that gets it. He's friendly. He's nice. He doesn't get into the drama. He doesn't care
good.
about it. He just likes to do his thing. And then Giga Beef.
Yeah.
Giga Beef and I vibe really well. Him and our mentalities with everything we do are like, we'll start a Discord conversation out of the blue, and then like 3 hours later, just talking about analytics and showing each other everything on our channels and stuff. And
Yeah.
he's another great content creator. I don't necessarily want to say he's under the radar because he's doing
Right.
great work and he's doing good content, but he's he's a guy I talk with a lot. Him and just
Yeah.
people you reach out to, and
Yep.
whether it's self-imposed or whether it is, it's hard to talk with other content creators that are bigger than you.
Right.
And even if I'm getting close to the size of Jesse or whoever,
Yeah.
these are all guys that were big when these were the guys I looked to when I was first getting started.
Yeah.
So they've still kind of got this status in my mind of these guys that, I was looking to for a realm when I was getting started.
Yeah.
And they're still there, even though we're catching up to them and we're,
Right.
we're getting our content on par with them. I feel like they're still there. It's just like
Yeah.
Pestily. Pestily's always going to be the granddaddy
Mhm.
content creator of Tarkov. It doesn't matter. You can stop doing Tarkov content, but he's always
Yeah.
going to be there.
Oh, absolutely. So now, when you're offline, you're not editing, you're not doing what are you doing away from the computer?
God, it's weather dependent here in Montana. Morning it can be rainy, and the evening it can be snowing, and then the
Yeah.
next day it's 80 degrees, which is pretty much what it did the last couple of days. It snowed on the mountains last night, and it's June
Oh,
1st.
wow.
So, no. So anything we can do outside. We got a big garden. We're
Yeah.
doing a lot of gardening. We're trying to get to where we can make enough food just for the family
Oh, nice.
in the yard, which is crazy, but it's a ton of work. last 2-3 weeks I've been working outside like crazy trying to get that ready. But you know, fishing, we'll take the kids floating,
Yeah.
camping, hunting in the fall. I
Nice.
go out and do hunting and stuff like that. Lots of shooting. I love to shoot. So
Yeah.
whenever the weather can hold up, we'll go out. We got a little place we can go shoot
Oh, nice.
whenever we want, and just go shoot guns and just enjoy and have fun.
Cool. What are you planting in the garden? That's you guys planting anything new this year?
Oh God, this year new, not so much new, but expanding. Last year we did a bunch of trials on a bunch of different plants to figure out, but this year we're the stuff that worked really well. So we're gonna do a bunch more corn this year,
Yeah.
zucchinis and squash, but more just about organizing from what we learned from last year and getting more out of the space we have, and then when it is time to harvest and we have all this food, we have no idea what to do with it. So that we're get into canning a little bit this year. You know,
Oh,
stuff
nice.
feels like we're super old, you know, on a farm prairie, but it's just about trying to save money and
Yep.
you know be more sustainable ourselves and live in, and it's good for the kids because it gives the kids something to do and understand
Absolutely.
that your food comes from somewhere. It's not just at the grocery store. And
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So, any big plans this year?
plans,
Yeah, that you'd like to see with the channel, or just any goals
you
you're
know,
trying to hit?
when we have 100K, there's always goals.
Yeah.
And they're just step goals. It's you know for the longest time getting partner on Twitch and 100K subs on YouTube was those were the long term goals, right?
Yeah.
But we got partner on Twitch and we're working our way. We'll probably with the wipe when the wipe happens, we'll probably blow through 100K in about a month and a half, assuming
Oh,
the wipe's
wow.
here pretty soon, which I think it is.
Yeah.
But you know, once that happens, then you got to look at bigger pictures. So for us, the thing is, how do we get the channel transitioned from niche economic guide content for
Yeah.
Tarkov to a more broader gaming channel?
Yeah.
I want to do a, you know, the show Top Shot. You remember that show? They
No.
brought people out and did like they shot guns and it was a
Oh,
competition
okay.
kind of thing. I want to do a Tarkov Top Shot. I want
Ah.
to set up a big like a streamer event if we
Yeah.
can. Get a handful of people together. Nothing like crazy competition. It's not going to be meant like, oh my God, the best shooters in Tarkov. It's going to
Yeah.
be, let's get people together and have fun and
Yeah.
set up some competitions and shoot for and get people to come out here to Montana to the where
Oh, wow.
I set everything up, get a bunch of different kinds of guns from Tarkov
Yeah.
so people can experience the different guns, and we just do some fun shooting competitions and then turn it into content.
Yeah.
Right. It's a ton of work. I've started looking at some of the stuff to do it. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh God, what did I just bite off? Because it's not just setting it up. It's, you know, how do you get these personalities to sign on to it? You know,
Right.
how do you
Yep.
get people, the different kind of people to come out and do it? And
Yeah.
then you got to do gun content, which has got its own realm of,
Yeah.
oh, you're dealing with a lot of issues when you start doing gun content that it doesn't necessarily jive in the world that we exist in now,
On
unfortunately.
some of
And
the platforms.
getting around, getting around monetization or being able to even stream it. You know, Twitch is the only place you can stream gun content.
Yeah.
You can't stream it on YouTube. You can't
Oh,
stream it
you
on Facebook.
can't? Oh, no way. Oh my
So
God.
no, so that YouTube's rules are that you can't handle any kind of firearms on live stream,
Oh, shoot. Okay.
and Facebook's the same way, and that's a
Yeah.
product of Christchurch
Yeah.
that came out after that, and it's understandable why they did
Right.
it. What's not understandable is they don't make any system to, you know, like
Yep.
you're a content creator with 100,000 subs, and you can get background checks and do the whole 9 yards and prove that this is where you're doing it, and there's just no avenue for that. And the fact that
Right.
you can still do it on Twitch is actually the surprising thing, right?
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And so we'll try to take advantage of that. Clean does it a lot.
Yeah.
I know some of the other guys show up and do shooting on Twitch, and I want to do that. But being in Montana, I don't have internet everywhere, so we're trying to figure out how to do with that. It might end up being Starlink. You know, using a
Yeah.
Starlink internet out there because where we shoot's kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And try to set up a stream for shooting, and then just get some more YouTube content. I want to do a lot of content that is a crossover between Tarkov and real life, and
Yeah.
show people that, hey, the reason this is the way it is in Tarkov is because real life. Things like
Yeah.
why certain magazines load slower than other magazines, or you know,
Oh, yeah.
why armor piercing ammo does less damage, but low piercing ammo does lots of damage, and do real gun content, but really overlay it with Tarkov and explain the systems in Tarkov, why they work the way they do. And so
Oh.
we've got a couple ideas for that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get stuff together. So hopefully here in the next maybe month, we can start cranking some of that out. We'll see.
Oh, That'd be cool.
A lot easier said than done.
Yes, I'm sure. One other thing I want to say is your merch, your t-shirts and whatnot. I love them, man. Great, great stuff.
Appreciate it. For us, it's not so much about making money. I didn't get into merch like, oh my god, I can make a ton of money on merch.
Yeah.
It's more like, you sit around with your buddies and you wish you had a t-shirt for something like this, or when you're browsing through Facebook or anything and you see a grunt style shirt and you love it, right? And you're like, oh man, it'd be cool if there was something like that for Tarkov.
Yeah.
It's really where all the shirts came from. Is our guy, we're sitting around talking and it's some saying that we say over and over again, like ULOCs save lives, right? Like that's something we say all the damn time. And I literally, I made a video about it during the whole meme setup, the whole argument when helmets were useless or not useless. That whole deal. Made a video about how ULOCs save lives, and now it's just constantly, all over the place. And there's one of the t-shirts, and then and it, it's fun to do non-branded content, because you don't feel like you're taking money out of BSG's pockets by using branded shit, but you can still do Tarkov's things and give stuff to the community that they enjoy and they like, and that's cool. More what it's about right now is just having t-shirts that because nobody else is really doing it. Everybody that does merch it's their, and not throwing shade at them because that's how it is, but it's it's their brand. It's Pizza Guy Tarkov or Pizza Guy for Jesse or Pestilese Plague Mask kind of stuff, and that's cool. It's good merch, but nobody does this kind of meme-ish fun shirts, and so that's kind of where
that only Tarkov people can appreciate. Absolutely. Well, hey, you survived the podcast. One last thing I got to do is you got to call out somebody who needs to come on the podcast. Who'd you think would be a good guest?
Let me think here. Let's I think I'm gonna go with Gigabeef.
All right.
You reach out to him. He's a hell of a content creator. He's got a cool story. He's kind of like he was like us. He's older. He's got a family. He's he's trying to struggle between real life. He just recently went full time as a content creator. So he's a super cool dude.
Okay, there you go.
Even though he's British.
Oh, well, hey, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate you and the time, and it's been
appreciate
wonderful
you having me on, man.
Meeting you.
Fun.
All right, take care.